Yeah, we're now late already.
Thank you very much, Mayor, Board of Trustees. The audit for 2010 and 11 has been completed. And if you have any questions to the auditor, Ms. Betsy Allen, she would be more than happy to answer any of the questions. Thank you very much.
Can you bring a copy of the audit report? For the trustees? Yeah, I have it. Betsy came in bearing gifts. Mohan, the one that disappeared, I think, locked in his office. He was so excited.
After all this time. We've been waiting and waiting for it. I hope it's not.
Well, while he's getting the books, do you want to maybe go ahead and get everything started?
Yeah, just real simple, like I said, if you have any questions as we're going along, I'm not gonna get into much detail, just let you know what's in here.
Just use your mic so-
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, yeah. Like, prior to the audit, I don't know what prior audits have gone over audits with you, so if there's something more you'd like to know, just let me know. When he brings it back, the first thing I want to talk about is, that's in the audit statement and auditor's report. There's a few items I want to point out in there. First of all, the firefighter's pension fund is presented in this audit, but we do not audit the firefighter's pension fund. It's audited by other auditors, so that is stated in this opinion, that it's audited by other auditors. The other thing with the police pension fund, you'll see in the opinion when you read it, that the police pension fund is not included. Yeah, is not included, it's clear. The police pension fund is not included in the financial statements that you're looking at. It's still in draft form, it's never been completed, and so it was decided by management, everybody to get the financial statements done, and we can do that and not present it, as long as we put it in our opinion and show you that it's not presented within the financial statements. So for the next audit, we will see if one gets done, and we'll push for it, and present it if possible. Another item you'll see in here is there's going to be ASB Statement 54 that was presented, that is it's been adopted this year. It has to do with the classification of fund balances. And so if you look at a prior year audit, you might see a lot of reserved and unreserved fund balances on your balance sheet. If you look at page 7 this year, on your balance sheet, you'll see the different categories of non-spendable, assigned, restricted. In the footnotes, it explains what those different fund balance classifications are. So that's also pointed out in the opinion. One other item in the opinion that you'll see that different than some is that there's also not a management discussion and analysis presented within the financial statements. That's something that management decided not to do this year. It's certainly something we can work towards doing in next year's moving forward, and that's what the village decides to do. The next section of your audit is the independent audit report is the basic financial statements. This includes your government-wide and your fund financial statements, along with reconciliations that reconcile the two of those together. We'll start on page 4, and that helps you out at all. following section is all the notes to the financial statements. We provide additional detailed information provided in the basic financial statements that we just talked about. There's a lot of more detail on the significant accounting policies, your capital assets, your the debt. So we'll give you the detail that's presented within the financial statements. The next two sections in the report we refer to as our other supplementary information, and our other information contains detailed schedules of the revenues and expenditures with the budget and actual comparisons of all your major funds. It also includes combining statements of all your non-major funds. And so that's just sort of a major and non-major is a quantitative determination that we do unless management wants to present the funds as major funds. So all funds of the village are presented. They're just some are presented as major funds. It's shown on the face of the financial statements, and others are combined to the non-major funds. Along with that, there's also budget and actual statements, pardon me, for all the enterprise funds, which are your water and sewer funds. So you'll see the detail of all the revenue expenditures in this section of that too. The final section in here is the other information, and there's detailed schedules of all your bond, your debt payments that you have left to pay by each separate issue. So you still have the principal and interest payments that are there's still outstanding at the end of October 31st of the month. Are there any questions? I know you haven't really seen any of this yet, so if you might have other questions that you need answered when I'm not here, or maybe at home, I'm the Lord Mayor, don't certainly contact me and answer any of those questions. The other two items that we're getting to tonight too, one of them is our required communication letters with the board. And that just talks about our responsibilities as an auditor and your responsibilities as an auditing you. It also talks about any of the ASB statements that are becoming effective for the district or the village and in what years that they're going to become effective. It shows any adjustments we have to make, so it gives you a table of the different adjustments that we made during audit procedures. So if you can read that, it's called our required communication to the board that we're going to do. The other letter that we have, we call our control efficiency letter, and there were a few items in this year's audit. We made some audit adjustments. There's some segregation of duties issues, but that has to do with having the size of the village that you have. There's really not much you can actually do about that, but we did provide some suggestions to help out with that. When you have a segregation of duties issues, the standards require us to communicate that to you and to present it as a controlled efficiency. Like I said, with the size of this village, it's not something that you're going to be able to probably ever completely fix. And that happens with a lot of smaller municipalities. It's not a rare thing. So, and so you can just read through. A lot of these have to do with the segregation of duties issues. That, like I said, we have some suggestions to work on. There's also just some comments and suggestions in here of things, but then like a capitalization policy or every thresholds, we don't have a written policy. So we're just suggesting that you take the time to find out a written policy on that. So you can take time to read through these, and if you have any issues or questions, please let me know or from here or go on.
Trustee Harris, you have a question?
You stated that you made some readjustments on
What kind of adjustments we made? There were some different entries to your accounts payable. There were right. So these are entries that were material to the audit that we brought to the attention of management, and then we ended up making them. So there were some property tax adjustments, some there's a DCO grant adjustment. There's money that you got in, so we were reclassifying it or in that. Different accounts payable adjustments for additional payables. We had to reverse some stuff from the prior year. So just different entries, like just regular different audit entries. And they've all been provided to Mohan to get into the fiscal year 11 record, so everything carries forward for the next audit.
I'm curious on
So the grant money was received, and it wasn't, it was a receivable, it was probably received after the year end. And that would pertain to the fiscal year 11, so it recorded as a receivable into fiscal year 11.
So we received it in 10, we didn't actually use it in 11.
No, you would have received it in after October 31st of 11, but it was the money for fiscal year 11. And from looking at this entry, some of it we did recognize as revenue, and about looks like $25,000 we put into deferred revenue to defer it to the next year.
Well, I will have a copy of this.
Yes, I have a couple of questions.
Okay?
First of all, this audit is for 2011, so this doesn't reflect what we have right now, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So the numbers that we have here is not exact, and things have changed. We have 2 more audits after this.
Correct.
So this is just showing us what we were, and what type of shape we were back at that time.
Exactly.
So I wanted to
Where you were
make
on
sure,
October
distinction, right.
30th.
I want everyone to look at this and think that, well, this is what we have now, because they're going to change in the next 2 audits.
Correct. We will be doing an audit for October 31st, 2012, and then we'll be doing a short stub audit, because you changed your year end to April 30th of 2013.
Right. Okay. And you're going to be doing both of them? All right.
That's our plan.
Okay. All right. Because right now, looking at these numbers, I mean, they look a certain way, but to actually react on them, there's nothing really we can do about that. All we can do is look at the numbers and just say, okay,
Right.
this is what happened at that time. You can't make any changes, you can't add anything to the fund, we can't say we have this or that, because really this is just something that should have been done back at that time. I just wanted to make that distinction right now, because I don't want people thinking, okay, we have this amount, we're in the hole. Yes, we're in the hole, but it's not this exact. It may be more, maybe less, we'll find that out. Second thing, was it, you're doing this audit, I know it took a little longer than normal, but the first auditors claimed the second one wouldn't take as long, but it seemed like this took a while too. Will the next one take it? Because right now what I'm saying is we can't borrow, we can't do much of anything until we get our audits complete. So will the next 2 go a little, you know, or do you see any problems?
No, I mean, I think that I talked to Mohan, we talked to the mayor, we'll talk to him next week. The big thing is that we've already provided Mohan a list of items that we need. To begin next audit started, we have people open, scheduled to open. We talked to the mayor, we talked to Mohan, but our big thing is we need everything ready when we come in. And that to make it cost efficient, just need time, efficient time to get it done. When we have all the information, we can come in and get it done much more time. And when we're waiting for stuff, we have to readjust schedules in our office. So the big thing is it's done, you get information time, and we get information to you much more time.
Okay. Now, I also saw some recommendations that you had in your letter. Some of these things seem, as you stated earlier, we don't implement because we don't have the staff for them, and some of the other things we should implement, so we can have checks and balances. I don't know, maybe we should, as a board, go over this and see so we can do this. I mean, you have a couple of items on here that made a lot of sense, that you should have checks or become, you know, I mean, people to check behind people to check behind people, and that's something that we really need to do, just not just have one person.
Right, you made a good point that you as a board can look at all these items, and they are suggestions to help. And like I mentioned in the beginning, you do have a small finance department, but you do have other people within the office, and sometimes you can utilize them as part of the checks and balances also.
Okay. I appreciate, I mean, the audit, I just saw it just now, I haven't had a chance to really look at it, but it's presented well. Well, really, well, as I stated before, there's not much we can do about it.
Right.
I mean, it is what it is. It just gives us a guideline and you a guideline to do the next 2. Hopefully we can get these done before the end of the year so we can go out and see if we can at least borrow money to pay some of these bills and things like that.
Right, and remember too, you know, you can say that this is, yes, this is where you were on October 31st, 2011, but you still do have internal financial statements that are up to date right now.
Right.
You know, that I'm sure that they see, and that can give you a more picture of where you are at now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just so everyone knows, with Mohan, if you come and see him, you need something, your request I put on the back burner, because I directed Mohan to get the information the auditors need, so we can move forward with this. I think one thing that we need to point out, that in less than a year now, we've gotten 2 audits completed. Okay? The goal is to have the 3rd audit before the end of the year. And that's why we're moving, giving Mohan the time that he needs, and he's working under my direction to give the auditors what they need, so we can get this 3rd audit done before the end of the year. The other thing to realize, especially to the board, is usually you have an audit per year. So you're paying out every year for that audit. In just a little over a year's time, we're going to be paying for 3 audits to be done. That affects us when it comes to our finances also. So that everyone realizes, because the audits are not cheap. They cost money. When you plan for an audit throughout your year for your budget, you only plan for 1. So it is going to be additional cost, and but it's something that needs to be done. Something that should have been being done, and we've inherited this, and now we're trying to get the bill back where it's supposed to be. The trustee made a great point. When these audits have to be completed for our low-interest loan with your APA, and the auditors understand we've met, had phone conversations back and forth about how important these are, due to the fact that we don't have the 3rd audit completed. We're probably most more likely we will have to be going back to court and asking for an extension on our court order. So that's why, again, it's important for Mohan to get all the information so we can move forward on getting this audit completed. But we have a date set, just like we had a date to have it done before or by October 31st. It was completed October 30th. I received everything, signed everything, and it's officially completed by 31st, but there's some little finishing touches we had to do on 30th. So now we have a date set for the end of December. And we're going to try our best to make sure we have that.
Okay. Can you talk to what we were talking about? There's 2 more audits to complete to get you caught up as a village. I realize too, I mean, we do just 1 at a time.
Oh, yeah.
1 year has to be done and closed
Oh, yeah.
before we can start the next one, so.
I do have one last thing I did want to ask. Where you have, on page 7, where you have restricted funds,
Yes.
you only have 1 entry, is that correct? It's just the railroad noise and safety improvements? Is that the only, is that the only?
No, if you read down underneath, there's also any of the special revenue funds, debt service funds, and the capital projects funds. Those fund balances are also considered restricted fund balances.
Restricted, you mean?
They're restricted due to any like enabling legislation or any special tax levy for them, so therefore that restricts their use.
Okay, they're going to be used for that purpose.
Right.
Thank you.
Well,
Any other questions for Betsy? Oh, you have plenty of reading material. If you have a conversation tonight, when you go home, pick it up and start reading. By the time you get to page 3, you'll probably get asleep. Betsy, thank you very much for coming out.
for having me.
Mohan, you anything else? All right. Move to item number 3. As everyone starts to move around with the electronic recycling dish, why don't you come on? Kind of squeeze that away here.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor, trustees, members of the audience. My name is Tish Powell. I am the Market Area Manager for the state of Illinois with Universal Recycling Technologies. I had the pleasure of meeting Mayor Hayes and Trustee Costin at the Illinois Municipal League Conference a few weeks ago. And we talked about the challenge that the Village of Sauk Village was having with residents being able to effectively take care of old electronics. Like many other communities in the area, I actually live in Elgin. I'm actually on our our city board, and the city council, we're announcing our board meetings tomorrow. I'll be in the same position again tomorrow evening. But just quickly, I wanted to go over a couple of things about what we have to offer the village of South Village in terms of electronics recycling for your residents. We're going to go over really quick why it's important to recycle the electronics, why recycle with us, and the proposed partnership between Universal Recycling Technologies, we call ourselves URT, and the village of South Village. Obviously, one of the big reasons why we should recycle electronics is conserving natural resources and reusing and recycling valuable materials. Many of the electronics have gold and other precious metals that can be reclaimed and recycled. The plastic can be reclaimed and recycled as well as the glass. They also have a lot of hazardous materials inside of computers, and in particular, TVs and computer monitors have a great deal of lead in the glass. Also has barium, chromium, a lot of other potentially hazardous materials inside of these electronic items, which is one of the reasons why Illinois banned them from landfills as of January of 2012. One of the things that's not often talked about is the fact that recycling is very good for our economy. In Illinois, recycling accounted for over 111,000 jobs and $3.6 billion in payroll in Illinois in 2010. Now, obviously, those figures are 3 years old. I no doubt believe that those numbers have increased in the 3 years that have passed. So this is actually very good for our economy. As I mentioned before, it's the law in Illinois, and about 25 other states have similar electronic recycling laws that prohibit people from being able to dispose of electronics in landfills. These are just a snapshot of the different items that the state of Illinois bans you from throwing away in your garbage now. TVs, computers, printers, there are about 17 different items on this list, along with a couple of other items like the cell phones and computer cable and zip drives that are also eligible to be included in the electronics recycling programs. In terms of why you should consider recycling with URT, we have a nationwide presence. We are based in Janesville, Wisconsin. We have facilities in Oregon, Wisconsin, Texas, New Hampshire, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Material that's collected here in Illinois is processed in our Wisconsin facility. We are certified e-stewards. We have the highest level of certification in the electronics recycling industry. What a certified e-steward is, basically it means that all of our material is processed here domestically. For those of you who probably remember a few years ago, I believe it was on 60 Minutes, did a big story on how electronics being exported from the United States was being processed and taken apart in third world countries by children, being exposed to all of the different toxic metals that I just talked to you about. And when they zoomed in the camera, they had big state of California property tags on some of those items. That is not a position that you as a city want to be in. All of our stuff is processed here in the United States. We do not process, we do not ship any whole materials overseas for processing. Let's talk a little bit about one of the things that often comes up is my electronics, is it going to be safe? Is my data going to be safe? We do very intricate removal of the material that's on the hard drives of computers that we collect. It meets the U.S. Department of Defense standards, and actually we just recently upgraded to another standard that's a little bit more stringent. And then we actually physically destroy, we shred the hard drive once that material has been eliminated from the hard drive. So we collect electronics and we transport it, as I mentioned, to our facility in Janesville. We do this basically at no cost to the municipality and no cost to the residents. And the way we are able to do that is because of the way the state law is written. The burden of the cost, or at least a portion of the cost, is borne by the manufacturers. So if you are a manufacturer of electronics, such as Samsung, Vizio, Panasonic. Anyone who sells electronics in the state of Illinois has to pay a fee, and those fees are used to help establish programs like this. After we collect the material, the usable items and parts are reused and recycled into materials, and this is an example of the container program that we are proposing for the village of Sauk Village. It's a 20-yard container, actually a 20-foot container. It's self-serve. People can walk in, they put their items in, and they walk out. We have this in several other communities in the state, primarily in the Rockford area is where we're doing a lot of business right now. We're really trying to expand into the south suburbs, which is why I'm here tonight. The benefit of programs like this is that it's available on demand. Many of you are familiar with the electronics collections that typically happen in communities maybe once or twice a year. And I'm not sure about anyone else, but for me, they always happen on the weekend of my son's birthday or my friend's bar mitzvah or something. There's always something going on and I can't make it. So the benefit of having a program like this is that it's always available to citizens. Having worked in municipal government for over 16 years, I understand what happens when you do not provide convenient ways for people to get rid of material. They're going to chuck it somewhere, and it's usually somewhere, obviously, where you do not want them to put it. If you provide a convenient way for people to get rid of it, they will use it. And that's really the big push that I use for municipalities, is if you provide a convenient means for people to dispose of items versus telling them they can do it once or twice a year, they will use it. And this is an example of, the one on the right is one of our branded containers that we have in the Rockford area. These were in the Kelly Williamson parking lots. And Kelly Williamson is a convenience store and gas mart in the Rockford and Wisconsin area. We put these out in a couple of their parking lots in April of this year. We collected over 65,000 pounds of electronics in the first week that we had that there. People used that very well. They were obviously, there's a great need out there for convenient access to get rid of electronics. This is showing the inside of basically what it looks like as people were putting stuff in the container. The containers hold about 6,500 pounds worth of electronics. And again, a list of the types of items that we take. This is a little bit more expanded list than what the state requires because we are an electronics recycling company. We're pretty flexible. If it has a cord, basically we can take it in the program. The only thing that we try to stay away from are big, bulky, large devices like washers and dryers and things of that sort. And I already covered this in terms of why it's important. You prevent e-waste from being dumped in back alleys or in commercial lots and commercial dumpsters. It's convenient, it's free, it's one-stop, and it's great to educate the public on how to use this program. I'm available to answer any questions that you might have. No, what we would do is provide one of these containers to the village of Sauk Village. What I normally recommend, and I believe Trustee Hoskin has identified some possible spots for you all to where this container should be placed. Where we recommend is that it is placed somewhere where it can be monitored, so that people are not tempted to try to take anything out of the container, as well as you can see people putting things in. And that's why we usually recommend that it's placed somewhere where it can be, it's somewhere within sight distance of someone being able to monitor it. But you set the hours that it's open. So say it's placed at your public works site, which is what I usually recommend. Your public works people open it up in the morning because it's locked. You open it, and at the end of the day, they lock it. So when they're gone, it's closed, it's locked, there's no access to it.
I just talked to a resident yesterday, that told me that I hold dogs and I picked up no business and some other fish picked out. So the young people came and took me and threw them in the ditch.
And that's what happens. I mean, because even though this law has been in place in Illinois since January of 2012, a lot of residents are really unaware of it. So they're still putting these types of items out for trash pickup, and then lo and behold, they come home from work, and the computer and the monitor and the TV is still sitting out there for trash pickup. They don't know what to do with it. And if they call the village hall or call the county and find out that the next electronics recycling collection isn't scheduled until January, you know, some people are going to do the right thing and put it in their garage or put it in their basement and wait until that collection. Unfortunately, everyone is not going to do that. There's no cost to the village for it.
Any other questions? Trustee Warren?
This is all electronics, it has nothing to do with hazardous materials.
Correct. Right, no hazardous waste.
Any questions? All right. Tish, I'd like to, can you just come around for a little bit? I know we have some audience that have questions, but not that question yet. Can you come around for a minute?
Absolutely.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, item number 4, the resolution to transfer funds. Come on up there, Warren. Anybody have any questions? It's spelled pretty well out what we need to use for, and we take that. Put it in.
Thank you very much, Mayor. As you all know that we don't have enough money in general fund to cover debt services for 2007 A bond. The total amount due is almost $685,000. Out of $685,000, we have almost paid about $455,000. And for 2007 C bond, the fire fund bond, we owe another $27,000. In essence, I'm asking for permission to move the funds from Canadian National Noise Reduction Fund in the amount of $236,000 even, and from South Fund, $47,000, and from Water Sewer Fund, $166,206. The debt service is due on 12/1/2013, but the checks has to go at least by November 15th, so that it can reach amalgamated bank, and the debt service needs to be taken care of as of 12/1/2013.
The money we paid back when?
It should be paid back once we get the tax levy money.
For the end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter?
Yeah, at the end of first quarter, we should be able to get almost all the money in and transfer right away without the board's permission. Once we have already permitted moving money from various funds into general, therefore, I will have the liberty and move right away whatever fund we paid from other funds into the same fund back.
Trustee,
I don't recall the resolution or anything, time period made about that. That's something.
Yes, because this doesn't require any right away refund back into the beginning.
Probably going to pay back the second quarter.
First quarter, at the end of first quarter, right?
Yeah, that's him up there, right?
That's it.
I just have a seat right here.
There's no need
the resolution is there so that we know where the money's being spent, when it's being spent. There's three reasons why we write have debt services, you have the fire equipment bonds, and you have the Sandy Hook litigation case. So those will be used, that money will be used for that. But we know that that money has to be paid back, so that's what we're looking at. As soon as the money starts coming in, we'll start transferring the money back into those. And I think the best thing for do is move from on to make sure that we keep support updates, especially in the first quarter. And now that's on our radar, I'm sure we're all going to be asking questions, to make sure that money's paid back. Trustee, Bridges.
Yeah, I just have a couple of questions. First of all, I know you're saying today, and I'm sure the clerk is writing everything down, but I'd like to see something that we're going to take X amount out. In other words, when our money comes in, because the money that comes in through tax levy is going to be earmarked for other things too, because we're going to have other tax bills at that time. We have a dedicated amount that we're going to pull out. We're pulling out a dedicated amount now. We're pulling out the X amount of money right now, so we have a dedicated amount that is, just like you do when you pay back something, you have a schedule. I would like to see a schedule in writing how much we're going to take out of each one, or how we're going to do this. I mean, we can talk about it now, but I'll forget about it in 3 months. And I'm not saying that you will, but I need to see something, how much we're going to pull from the levy, how much we're going to pull from the first tax. I think it's in February or March when we first get our first taxes. Now, the tax levy that we're going to get, that we're going to levy in December, we won't get that money until next November, correct?
Until March 1st, we don't see.
Right, we won't see. So I just want to know that, because money can get, we can have other emergencies, the money can be used for something else, because at that particular time, we may need that particular money. So.
Then what would happen is the money would be reimbursed, and we pass another resolution borrowing in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. See, a couple of these accounts that we're pulling from, we're not supposed to be pulling from.
It's not supposed to be, but
I'm just saying, so if we have something in writing that we're going to at least pay it back at this particular
it
time.
will be paid back. I will.
But I understand, Mohammed, say for instance, you're not here in 6 months. I want something in writing that whoever comes or whatever happens at that particular time, that money, X amount of money is taken out of the levy or whatever to pay, like you do a car note, you pay so much.
What we can do is, we want to put something in writing, exactly how much money is going back, how we're going to pay back. You put something in writing, which is no problem. No, I know.
Where is it right here? Where are we going to pay it back now?
Whatever,
Right.
I'm asking for the board to remove whoever actually received, not only prepaid back.
But I think the board probably was something in writing, so put something in writing exactly, with estimated amounts. If you expect a certain amount will come in at a certain time, we're going to take this portion, we're going to put it, we're going to pay it back. See if we can put something together.
I mean, because really, and we talked about this, really what we're pulling out, we're not supposed to be, but if we're going to get money back, which we talked about this too, we're going to get money back, that's no problem.
Well, I just want to make sure you clarify something. Keep on saying we're not supposed to, but yes, we can. And that's the reason we're putting in the one resolution. We made it very clear that we went and checked with the attorneys if we were able to borrow this money from this account. So you keep on saying we're not supposed to, we're not supposed to, yes, yes,
We can take money out of
The fact is the money has to be paid.
Right.
So we can borrow the money. Now, what something we can't do is take this money, spend it on something else, and not put the money back. So we made it very clear and checked with the attorneys to make sure before this
So
happens.
there's a time frame on that, I mean, I understand what you're saying.
The time frame is the end of March, when the money starts coming in, the money we put right back in the account.
All of the money is
So the first tax money is due, get that money,
Oh, you're gonna pay it all back in one time?
Yes.
Okay, that part I didn't, that's what I'm asking. Okay, that's nothing in here, there's nothing in it that states that. There's nothing in here that states that.
I just transferred.
Again, we were very careful about when we made this decision, which the attorney found out what we could do. The attorneys, in fact, the resolution is on the advice of the attorneys, because we are borrowing the money, so we're going to make sure that we have the, call it the documentation, the traceability, that where the money is coming from, what we're spending the money on, and then when the tax revenue comes in the end of the first quarter, we move that money directly back into these accounts.
The money we're spending is for the municipal bond, correct? fire fund. Okay. Now, don't think, I didn't, okay, because,
Plus the San Diego case.
right, well, that part we had already talked about, but the fire fund, isn't that part of their budget though?
Yes,
It's part of their budget.
Yes, it's because we don't have money in fire fund and in general fund. Therefore, and for the necessary money, we won't have general fund to pay assessments.
Okay, you said that the lawyer said that, because I thought one was a restricted fund, but I mean, I understand, I'm not talking about the Canadian National, I'm talking about the water fund, I thought that was restricted.
The much choice from where from.
Okay. As long as I see, I mean, I just want to see something in writing that we're gonna pay it back, you know, but, I mean, I just, because, you know, we had a problem last year, we had to raise, taxes in, what was it, June, because of the bond, that was the issue. So we had to levy taxes back, that was the first time I think I've ever heard that, since I've been here, that we actually have a levy in June, we usually have a tax levy in December. So that was because we didn't have the money for the bond, so I'm just saying that, you know, if we take that kind of money away from the taxes, it's gonna take away from something else down the road. Okay.
The tax levy is pretty close to about, $900,000.
No.
Actually, well, I mean, yeah, for $9,000, from our end, but that to your already, $455,000.
We already had 400,000.
We have enough money, we barely enough money to cover the,
For that, the list will be,
about $2 or $3.
Any other questions? All right. So item number 4, all questions or comments directed to the mayor. A speaker will be given 3 minutes to comment on topics of their choice. Speaker will be allowed 1 opportunity to speak. If you would, please state your name and address for the record.
Hello, Rose Langston, House President. Good news is I want to thank all the public participants and our volunteers for our huge, successful 10th annual spaghetti dinner. It was standing room only. We're going to have to make arrangements, probably to fill out the hall in the lobby in the future. Other question that's been bothering me is the park name here. Since 2005, there was ordinance stating that it should be a joint park, not just Welch Park. And I have asked for it, and I wonder if we could at least get a sign that just says Veterans Memorial Park added to the other sign. That, in case you're not familiar with that, any literature that goes out, whether it's rental over there, should include the new name that's been in since '05, because every time I pick up anything, look at Facebook, they only mention Welch Park. And for any of you that aren't familiar with it, it's under park name, and I believe the ordinance number is 41.1 for the correct name. Thank you.
Probably like 05. Yes, sir.
Stephen Shimkus, 44-year resident. The only question I had was about the electronic recycling. Is that going to be periodically picked up, or is that going to be monitored by somebody so it doesn't create an overflow condition?
Yeah. All right, Mr. Shelley, answer that question.
Thank you. I guess I probably didn't cover that. You'll just stay here forever. Just kidding. The partnership that we have with the communities that we have the containers with is once it gets about 3/4 full, Public Works or whatever department is hosting the container will call us, and then we actually come empty it. Some of the containers are actually swapped out, but the containers we're mainly using now are actually empty. And one other thing I wanted to add to the partnerships, what we usually try to do is ask for the village or the city to work with us on marketing. If you have water bills that you can print information on, helping to advertise the electronics recycling program that's here. We have a village newsletter, obviously we have a website. So we can work with you on those types of advertising and marketing of the program. And not just for South Village, because the volume is key, so some of the neighboring communities can obviously come and use the container as well.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. No one else, we'll move to item number 6, miscellaneous business accounts from the Board of Trustees. Start with
I just want to let everybody know that the Public Relations Committee will meet here tomorrow at 7 p.m. to discuss Student Government Day and the Village Sticker Contest, and then Community Outreach Partnerships will meet next week.
Intergovernmental relations will meet here, Thursday, 7 o'clock.
Mr. Mayor, the current rest will be at 6 o'clock Thursday over at the Community Center. And also, I'd like to thank everybody who helped participated in truck entry, and it was a great success. We had a lot of kids turn out, we had a lot of candy given out. It was a good time for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
There is a special beautification meeting Sunday, November 24th to discuss things on helping the Parks and Recs Committee with the Santa Claus Parade and events thereafter. So
Trustee Worship.
I just want to announce that on this coming Thursday, we will have our regular schedule. They will watch the video of the fire station at 7 o'clock. And I'll also want to make note that the tag day that we scheduled for this Friday, we're going to postpone that due to some logistic issues that we're having right now with scheduling people to get to different intersections. So we're going to schedule our tag day for Friday. I just consider I did attend this beginning dinner here with the seniors, and it was very, very awesome and phenomenal. I really enjoyed myself. A lot of seniors, a lot of people were here. I was very amazed to see the tables all in the hallways, such an overflow, and but we cooked the spaghetti. It must have been pretty good because everybody was going back and forth. I don't know who cooked the spaghetti actually, but I have an idea who was, well, I was told they did that. I also want to say that I attended Saturday at Walgreens with the mayor and the board, with Congresswoman Robin Kelly, and I was really excited to see so many residents that came to Walgreens just to see her. Again, the surprise on the faces of the residents that was just shopping to see her there. I didn't talk to her home, and I was super impressed on that. But from my perspective, I had a chance to talk to her, and it looked like I enjoyed attending that at Walgreens. And then on Sunday, I was the supervisor, Frank Zuccarelli's event at South Suburban College, where the governor was there. And said that actually we was going to take a picture of him again and talk to him. I had my jacket on, so I got a lot of attention from a lot of different elected officials there. And so I just been having a very, very good weekend. And that was my report.
Trustee Martin.
Parks and Rec, we're, that being set, today's Santa is
7/14.
14, and we're going to kick off at the public works. We always have, and you guys will notify all the departments and everything. And that we will notify.
It's a little
Continue, yeah, so the 14th. The other one is that the order for the group committee will be on the 21st at 7 p.m. here in this building. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Trustee. Trustee Washington did steal a little thunder. I appreciate it when it came out to the meet your Congresswoman Mayor on Corn. The trustees came out, they had a great turnout. Again, a lot of the residents were glad to see the Congresswoman. And I was talking to her on the way out. She said that it was such a good turnout. She's looking forward to coming out and doing it again. So we'll see if we can get another date, maybe early next year, where she can come out. And she kind of likes that type of event where she can get out there. She's a very people person, so she likes getting out and meeting the residents and talking to them. So I'd like to thank everyone that came out. I think the trustees that were able to make it out also. It was a great turnout. November's starting to turn out to be a busy month. If you get a chance to look at the village calendar, a couple things I wanted to point out though. Again, we have our committee meetings, we have commission meetings, we have other events. There's some important things coming up, just if you would let your neighbors know, let your friends know. The Affordable Act, everyone knows it's upon us now. So on Thursday, November the 14th, here at the Village Hall, Hall from 10 o'clock to 1:30. We're going to have a Affordable Care Act presentation and enrollment. So if you only want to make sure that you enroll on the Affordable Act, come in on Thursday the 14th. We're also doing on that same day, that night, from 7 o'clock to 8:30, we're having a presentation. There will not be enrollment at that one, but there'll be a presentation. So anyone who wants to come in after work, those are going to be held right here at the Village Hall. On the 19th, as everyone remembers, we have satellite hours for Representative Thaddeus Jones. On the 19th, the staff will be here from 9:30 to 12. So if your representative is Representative Thaddeus Jones, you want to come in and talk to some of the staff members, give them a location here in the Village Hall. This is the second one that they've had already. So we're excited to be able to, number one, show off our Village Hall, and it's your Village Hall. But and we're excited that our state reps are coming in now and using our Village Hall. So, and again, that's what it's here for. The 23rd, that Saturday, we're going to have a foreclosure assistance workshop for homeowners that will be here at the Village Hall from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. That Saturday is a busy day. We also have the tax appeal workshop, which will be here at the Village